All right, so I guess we've given them the typical 5-minute rule to get to the start of the class. Good afternoon again, everyone. For those of you who may not know me, I'm Kenneth L. Herman Jr., the Chief HR Officer of Fulton County. And first of all, let me thank you for taking time out of your day to come to this information session. And this information session has really been procured just for you. This morning, we spent about an hour talking with your respective department heads and leaders, and we had a few commissioners in the meeting as well, to stress the importance of creating what we call a safe environment. And not a safe environment from the standpoint of making sure you can't trip and fall, but an environment where if you're feeling stressed, that you have a set of tools that you can rely on and they can rely on to help you through that stressful event. Um, for those of you who just trickled in, I've already given away $100, so you already missed that. But we'll do a quick survey, or we'll do a quick not competition. We'll do a quick guessing game. You know, you have one guess per person. But how many, just by a show of hands, who wants to guess the percentage of your colleagues that are calling the EAP for assistance relative to mental health challenges? Yes, sir. How much? No. 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 See, at HR, they don't listen. I already told them this number. They don't be paying attention in my meetings. So let me go. Because they're embarrassing me now. So let me go on this side of the room. Yes, ma'am. No. 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 3, no. 85? Close, no. No. No, I said close to 55. Where you going to 95? Yes, last one. No. No. 50%, yes. 50% of all the calls to EAP. Oh, hold on, let me. See, okay. Don't fold my money. Come on, give it back. Oh, you can't fold my money. Don't be folding my money. Yeah, so 50% of your, I'll give you a new one, but you already messed that one up. 50% of your colleagues have, whenever they reach out to EAP, they're reaching out because of some mental stress that they're going through. And that equates, you know, when we also talk with our health insurance carrier, that's roughly about 4% of that 50% of some larger population are actually going through the enrollment with some primary care physician for counseling, depression, and the like. So we thought it was necessary for us. And while that might be underneath the industry benchmark, I would love to see that number go to 0. And it's highly unlikely, but we have to start somewhere. And I think Dr. Lester is that start. And hopefully during the next hour and a half, as we engage you in conversation, and we want it to be interactive as well, you learn a few tips, strategies, and tools. You know how to identify it for your colleagues, because I think you are the front line of that. You're working with that person side by side, and you see their demeanor changes and their whole personality change. That's one of the signs that you need to be triggered on to and reach out to a supervisor or manager or HR for some kind of assistance. But we're hoping by the end of this session, and this is just the first of many on this very topic, that you are able to help us help you be the most productive and well adjusted, as I always say to my son, individual that you can be. And during the session this morning, I gave a directive to all the department heads that every Tuesday and Thursday you have 15 minutes to read Foco News absolutely without fear of being written up or anything like that, because that's where we provide a lot of information about how could you, do virtual yoga. How many know about the virtual yoga classes? Great. That's what I mean. You're reading Foco News. Well, most of your department heads didn't know that they even existed. So virtual yoga is there. All, where we advertise our information on what we're partnering with our healthcare providers. That's going to be in Focal News. So every Tuesday and Thursday, you have 15 minutes to read Focal News. If you're ever at your desk and your supervisor walks by and say, hey, what are you doing? You just say, Mr. Herman said, let's repeat it. Mr. Herman said, I have 15 minutes to read Focal News. There you go. There you go. That's all you have to say. And tell them call me if they have a question. All right, so without further ado, let me bring Dr. Lester up so that she can begin her part of the presentation. And again, please be engaging. Ask her as many questions as you have. And I think there's an actual exercise as well. So we also have an exercise for you guys to complete as well too. So again, let's welcome Dr. Lester.
I was going to say good morning, but good afternoon, everybody. Hey. Guys, I'm Jennifer Lester, and we can go to the next slide, please. I'm Jennifer Lester, and I'm a licensed psychotherapist, a mental health expert, a behavioral change expert. I'm a purpose whisperer. I'm a mother, a daughter. I just told them I was a Girl Scout leader. I was trying to quit this year if they let me. But I'm excited to be back here for this group. Earlier today, we had a group that the boss and I met my friend Marty over there. Hey, Marty. I met Marty today. I told Marty, I said, I got the apartment heads together today. He said, thank you for getting them together for us. So, but they were excited about what we're talking about today. And what I wanted to talk about today, you can just flip this to the next slide, is mental health resilience. It is, this is our, and you can flip one more time for me. Okay, cool. So today what we're talking about, and I think this is most important as we talk about mental health in the workplace. And like I said earlier today, I got to talk to the department heads and the chairs and the people who are leading these things and realizing that, they have a lot of stresses too, but how they relate to you and the support that you feel gets the best out of everybody. Mr. Harmon did. I was there. I witnessed that he said 15 minutes to be able to give that. So he got a lot of money. He's giving out money today. And so I'm going to try to see if I can get a little bit of my hands raised as well. This coins that he's passing out. But more importantly, I wanted to talk about, I saw some people come in and they was excited to see each other this morning. It was like a family reunion because we have not been together in the same place at the same time for training. This is the first. So thank y'all for inviting me and let me come to the family reunion today. But I wanted to make sure that the people which are the majority of you guys who are doing the work, understand what it looks like when what mental health looks like, what mental toughness looks like, to understand that you're in a workplace that people support it. And I've given them some tips and tools and strategy to see how to support not only themselves but the people who are on their teams, who are working with them and for them for that. So today I wanted to come, and I am a conversationalist, so I'm not just a lecturer, so I won't be sitting here and just talking, but I'll be sharing some stories, some real life stories, and hearing from a lot of you guys about how you're overcoming stress, how to have some tips, some tools, some strategies, all of this stuff to be able to manage this that's happening in there. So participants will be able to understand mental health resilience, to learn more about the importance, and you're going to learn about these things called the 7 C's of resiliencies. And so how many of you guys have ever heard the word resilient? I'm resilient. Pretty tough. Okay, next slide. We got a lot of slides here with me today, so he's working with me for this one. So next slide. Okay. So we're really talking about resilience. And I was just talking to thinking that when you think about the resilient, what words come to your mind? Any words? Tough. That says tough. Strong. What? Perseverance. Persevere. It takes a bit of resilience, guys, to be able to do what you do every day to come back in. It takes a bit of resilience to be able to work even through stressors, even through your own personal life. And one of the things I want to make sure, although they're bringing me here from the workplace, we don't separate home and work. It's the same. I was telling someone is that how you do anything is how you do everything. So basically, if you are the kind of person that plans everything at work, oh, it's Tanya's birthday. Yeah, we got to sign a card. Everybody give a gift card. We're gonna go out to lunch. You're probably the person that does it for your family. If you're the one who they put in charge to go tell, advocate for everybody, say, no, we're not going to do this. This isn't right. This is the best way to. You're probably that person in your personal life. So how you handle stress, how you manage your own self-care, it's probably how you do it here. Well, I'm not gonna leave, even though they didn't do it. I'm gonna go ahead and do it, or I'm just gonna take it and just not say anything, or I'm gonna keep it all inside. I can handle it. So how you handle work is usually a mirror how you handle your personal life. So the tools that we're sharing today will help you to be able to do both. Both. So you're good at home and you're also good in the workplace. So really, what is resilience? So the really working different definition for resilience is next slide, please, is your ability to withstand adversity. And so your ability to bounce back during difficult times. So we know for fact that 2020, we just said that everybody's here for the for the first time. 2020 was a big shot. You didn't know if you were going to come back to a job, if things were going to be still open, if stuff was going to still be virtual, if you're going to still have the same boss, is your pay was going to be the same, you're going to still have the same coworkers. Well, any of this, all of that was an ability to bounce back from things that are hard. And that then coupled with things that may happen in your life, a relationship, personal, family stuff, financial things, all of those is your ability to be able to withstand adversity. But being resilient does not mean, this is the key piece, does not mean that you won't experience stress, emotional upheaval, and suffering. Resilience involves the ability of your emotional pain. Involves the ability to work through them. So it says that tough times don't last, tough people do. Basically, so that's our theme for today. Tough times don't last, tough people do. We know that tough times will come, but how will tough people be able to handle them? So they tell me you are the toughest among all in the Fulton County. So I'm here to see how tough you guys are today. And if you aren't that tough, that's okay. When you leave, you'll be a little bit tougher than you were when you sat down here today. So next slide, please. So here are some examples of resilience. So we use the words, and these are some terminologies, and they love to throw a few terms around, but I want to make them very personal to you so that you feel that you understand them. So there is emotional resilience, there's physical resilience, and there's the community resilience. So the emotional resilience is a person's ability to tap into being optimistic and dealing with crisis. Oh, it's going to be better. You know, those people, some people are just, oh my God, they can see, they can hunt the good, they can find the good in anything. I'm one of those people. Oh, what happened? Okay, listen. Oh, this is exactly what it happens, just like it's supposed to. This is why it's happened, so we're able to see this. There's some people that can do it with ease. Some people that says that, hey, bad times always come to me. These things always show up in my life. This is always how it's going to be. Why didn't they pick me? I told you they didn't like me. Some of those people, and so that's the lower resilient folks. Then the physical resilience, it refers to your body to adapt to changes. And so we can talk about the head and our emotional all we want, but our body literally responds to stress, responds to it. It responds to stress so that it causes us to not want to eat, not want to sleep, eat too much, can't function, cannot concentrate. Your mind and your body responds directly to physically to stressors to happen in your life. And so that's the physical resilience. And then there's community resilience. Community resilience, how we come together and during a natural disaster, during a pandemic. We've all have been a part of a pandemic, how we come together and doing those. So those are the three types of resilience that we have: emotional, physical, and the community resilience. Okay, next slide. So the why I'm talking to you today is important. Is why is resilience important? So I want you to think for a moment, share with somebody next to you if you like. Why do you think resilience is important? And remember, Mr. Herman was passing out dollar bills, so I don't have any of those hundreds that he was passing out. So I'll make sure I take notes and make sure Miss Virginia help me take notes, see if we can get a couple of those hundreds. So what were you saying? Part of living. Okay. Resilience. Why is it important? Because I can't hear. What is it? Bad things happen. Mental stability. Balance. Somebody said balance. That was a good one. You have to bounce back so that you're gonna stay down. They said you get knocked down 8 times, get up 9, right? So you don't. So that's why resilience. It has another hand. Help you reach your goals. Resilience. All right. So next slide. So the reason resilience is important is because we'll get us a new slide. Okay. Why resilience is important? So resilience is important because it's needed in the process to overcome hardship. So hardship will come. Has anybody in here ever faced any hardship? Let's say you've ever failed a test. Let's say you ever got rolled up before. Let's say you ever had a breakup, a divorce. Let's say you've ever been broke before. Let's say you ever anybody has any type of hardship before. Let me see hands raised. There's some people who've never had any hardship, and I would love to be able to talk to you about what that looks like. So any hardship, each person's hardship is different. So it is important because you needed to overcome hardship, but those lacking resilience are easily overwhelmed and may turn to other unhealthy coping mechanism. They may do anything. I mean, just a lot of unhealthy coping mechanism for that. But resilient people tap into their strength and support their strength to overcome challenges and work through problems. So what we're saying clearly, to make sure we're saying the same thing, is that tough times will come, right? But it's your ability to adjust to them. How bad? What happens with things? Let me tell y'all all kind of stuff. All kind of things will happen to you in your life and recently happened and will happen to you. It is how you look at it. It is what you see. When you change what you look at, what you see will change. And so I talked about before being a behavior change expert, right? So I am a cognitive behavioral therapist. I believe that your thoughts affect your behavior. You change your thoughts, you change your behavior, ultimately, you change your life. Sounds real easy, except if you've been having the same thinking pattern for a very long time. I was sharing with one of the judges that was in here today. She was talking about some of the things that she does. I guess because as a judge, she thinks like analytical, and then for me, I think it like kind of emotional. How do we stress these things out? And it is literally the way you think that adjusts and changes everything in your life. How many of you guys ever heard of the law of attraction? Law of attraction. So we got some law of attraction practitioners. So those of you who have not or don't believe in it, the law of attraction simply says that the thing that you think about the most is what you've drawn to yourself, whether you can make the connection or not. The thing that you think about and you focus on the most is what you've drawn to you, whether you make the connection or not. So I was joking with my nephew. He was saying something about some, oh no, I'm just an ugly boy. Something he was saying, just joking. He knows he's handsome. And I said, the universe doesn't even know when you're joking and you're playing. When you walk into a place and say, I hate this job. I'm so tired. I'm over it. It doesn't know. It's responding directly to what it is that you've said. And so because of them, when bad things start to happen, it's kind of the frequency that you're on and how you're looking at stuff. So another thing is that thinking about this is think about the car that you drive, right? Everybody right now, I want you to think about the car that you drive. All right. Once you got that car, you saw them everywhere, right? Oh my God, there it is in gray. I didn't know they had it in black with a peanut butter interior. Oh my God, it's custom tree. There it is on 25. Now here it is on 20. Oh, it's coming down 670. It's everywhere. The cars have been everywhere all along. It is the frequency that your brain and your mind is on that allows you to be able to see it now. It is a simple truth. It's the same. It can be a pair of shoes. Oh, she has those shoes on. Oh my God. That's the same. Whatever it is, it's the frequency that you're on. Now, here's how it works with your brain. Positive and negative things, hardship, all of these things will come. They're happening to us simultaneously all the time, good and bad things, positive and negative things. It's a frequency that your brain is on that allows you to see one or the other. So I was in DeKalb County courts, and I was working with a judge that was there, and she had this first offender program. And she said, Jennifer, can you come out and talk to my group? The cool part about it is that they have no idea that their record's going to be wiped away at the end if they go through this program. And so I'm talking to this young man, and he says, telling him all about all this positive thinking, all this thinking yourself well, all this great stuff that I'm saying. And he said, yeah, yeah, yeah. Every time I've been in the corner, the police standing right there waiting on me, no, Miss Jennifer. So I said, he probably is. The same corner that you've been in, the police is probably sitting right there too. I just didn't see him. I'm not trying to hide from him. I feel that confident. I got everything. I'm following the rules and the regulations of that. It's happening to you. So if you're thinking like, oh, they're never going to hire me, they aren't going to pull from me, or this is the life is just going so bad. This is what's going on. It's a negative. It's a lack of resilience, and because it's a thought process that you have connected with what's happening. So being tough and resilient is really starting with your mental pieces, your mental, and that's why it's important. It is important to be able to get us through hardship, to be able to think ourselves out of situations, to be able to change ideally, literally our life, our mindset behind things. All right, next slide. All right, how resilient are you? How many of you guys think that you're pretty resilient? Okay, y'all pretty tough. So 83% of Americans believe that they have a high level of emotional and mental resilience. Meanwhile, only 50% scores show that. So you know how y'all thought it was 95% of the people, 100% of people going to EAP. 83% of y'all said that y'all pretty tough. Now the records show, studies show that only 57% are you guys are really tough. So I want to see how tough you are. Okay. I'm going to literally see how tough you are. So let's go to the next slide. So this is the Nichols and McBride. It is a questionnaire of resiliency. Put your glasses on, go ahead and screenshot it, take a picture of it, because I really want to see how tough you are, right? You said to me, everybody saw a lot of hands, and that was about 83%. I'll give that. 85 in here that said that you're pretty tough. So I want to take a moment and I want you guys to answer these questions. It's only 12 quick questions. You're going to score them on there. You'll score them on the 1 and a 5 and strongly disagree all the way through that. And I want you to score them. So I'm going to give you a moment to do this because it's really important as we move forward to the next step. Okay. All right. One to 5, you're scoring it between 1 and 5. 1 is I strongly disagree. 5, I strongly agree. You type them in your phone, add it up. Want to see what your numbers are. Mr. Herman, we needed you with that envelope earlier. We needed you. Okay. We got it. We waited. We'll need you again. Looks like most of you guys are finished adding up. I have a few that's still adding. I give you guys just a couple more minutes to go ahead and add it up. For those of you that may not have anything to write it on, just open your calculator up and just go down and just add your numbers on up and see what your numbers are for this Nicholson McBride Resilient Questionnaire. So just a few fingers still moving, and we're ready in about 15 seconds. I give it to 1:30 on the clock. All right. So let's see how tough you guys are. So the question was one is that in a difficult spot, I turn at once to what can be done to put things right. Two is I influence where I can rather than worrying about what I can't influence. I don't take criticism personally. I generally manage to keep things in perspective. I am calm in a crisis. I'm good at finding solutions to problems. I would describe myself as an anxious person. I wouldn't describe myself as an anxious person. I don't tend to avoid conflict, and I try to control events rather than being victims of circumstances. I trust my intuition, manage my stress level well, and I feel confident and secure in my position. Okay, next slide. Let's see. So our next slide is going to show us kind of the scoring of it, and let's see where we are. And that's okay. My slide person is still adding their numbers up. All right, here we go. So your score, who are my 0 to 37? 0 to 37. Some 0 to 37. Okay, so about 0 to 37 people, you're developing. You're in the developing level of resilience. Your score indicates that although you may not always feel at the mercy of an event, you would in fact benefit significantly from developing some aspects of your behavior. So that's pretty cool. Okay. 38 to 43. 38 to 43. Okay, you have an established level of resilience. Your score indicates that you may occasionally have a tough days when you can't quite make things go your way, but you rarely are ready to give up. That sound like you? Okay, so 44 to 48. 44 to 48. Okay, you're strong. That's a strong level of resilience. Your above average score indicates that you are pretty good at rolling with the punches, and you have an impressive track record turning setbacks into opportunities. All right. 49 to 60. 49 to 60. Okay, 49 to 60. You're exceptional. You have an exceptional level of resilience. Your score indicates that you're reception of people bragging and shaming everybody else. I heard you. Exceptional level of resilience, people. You have a score that indicates that you are very resilient most of the time and rarely fail to bounce back. Whatever life throws at you, and you believe that you make your own luck. And so those are the importance of understanding what your level of resilience is knowing that, hey, I can always add to it. I can build it up. There's some things. And by the end of here, regardless of if you are at the developing level or you are at the exceptional level, hopefully I'll share some things to be able to improve your level of resilience. Okay, next slide. And then my people that took this, did you guys all agree with this? Did you guys agree with that? I'm hoping that my slide has sound on it. If not, I can be able to slip this one. This is a video about resilience, and we show this video. One is that because I want you to know at the end of the video, what did you were you able to point out? Did you see resilience and the importance of it? A few things. So I'm going to play this short video really quickly. And there isn't sound to it. No, so we'll skip it. It's not a big deal. There's no sound to it. And then, so you can do the next slide. All right. So we're going to get right into how to boost your resilience. So based upon that, did you guys, when you took the test, do you feel that's an accurate description of you? Pretty much? Yes. How many of you guys were very honest though? Everybody was honest. I guess everybody was honest. Take a copy of it, share it with somebody. You remember back in the day, you used to have those magazines, you just pull out those questionnaire, who you're compatible with, what zodiac sign is the best, all of those. This is a great tool to share with not only your other coworkers and people who may not have, and then we're going to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to have access to this presentation today. But looking at your resilience, because I like for you to look back a few months later, by the end of the year, and see, have you build it, see, is it has it boosted? And this is a good baseline for us to have. So how to boost your resilience? So we're talking about what resilient is, how resilient are you, how do we improve it? So we'll go to the next slide. Yeah, see, I'm a slave to the PowerPoint. Yeah, and just all right, so visualize success. So here are ways to boost your resilience. And the way, and I'm going to tie it all back to the resilience piece, your mental health part, how all affects you in the workplace, and then so you can kind of pull this all together. So resilient people visualize success. And so resilient people create their own vision of success. And so when it says create your own look, you create your own vision of success for your own vision of success for here. This helps them to act to achieve their goals by providing a clear sense of where they are, where they're headed. For that, and I'm gonna pause here and say this: is that you have to have some type of vision in order to be resilient, right? So I'm operating. If not, I'm just simply operating off of my mind. What's going on? It has to be a vision. Where do I want to go? What do I want to go in the company? What does success looks like for you? Not necessarily always your what somebody else has put what success in your position looks like for you. And so the reason we're saying that your own vision is because it's tied to how well you feel. How do you feel? Do you feel appreciated? How well do you feel successfully? Do you feel that, hey, I'm accomplishing all of the things? I said earlier to that group, is that people don't quit bad jobs, they quit bad bosses. And so in some aspects, you also may be supervising over somebody or over some things. It is the relationship with others, the reason you want to do more. You want to go on. If you have a very good relationship with your boss or your superior, your department chair, you want to see them succeed. You're going over and beyond to help them. And the reason you're going to have a good relationship is because they're listening to you. They understand the stresses that's happening. They understand that stresses will come, but here's how we overcome them together. So when you have those good relationships and you're able to feel comfortable and to get over and to be able to talk and be able to share this information with someone that you feel like got your back, it's a difference in what you're able to do, and it helps release some of the stressors. But there's also not just necessarily that, but the vision that you have for yourselves. And so when you're building resistance, I'm building resilience, and you're building your mental health capacity, and you're strengthening your mental health, you got to have some type of thing, not just what a piece of paper describes for you, what you want to happen, but what do you have for yourself? Yes. Write the vision, make it plain. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you're writing. How many of you guys, it's the beginning of we're halfway through the year, had New Year's resolutions? Yeah, I did. How many of you had some goals, set some goals for the new year? And then we crashed them. We're still working on them. Every couple of days, y'all, I'm back detoxing. I just came back from out of town. That was my excuse. When I get back, I'm gonna do, but that's okay. It's part of vision. And there's an old saying that says, "How do you eat an elephant?" Right? Bite. You don't swallow them whole. So it's okay. Sometimes we get discouraged by when things don't happen, but delayed isn't denied. And so because things don't happen right then in that moment for you, you don't lose your vision. You change your goal. You don't change the goal. You just change the steps on how to get there. But sometimes when people are writing visions for you and you don't have a part of that, then you don't have buy into it. So being able to comfortably share your emotions, your feeling about what it is that success and vision looks like for you is a great place to be able to reduce the stressors in your life and in your workplace. And so boosting your self-esteem. Some people are naturally blessed with high self-esteem. Others perhaps, are more needed. They aren't, and they still got to be able to work on that. And then one of the things I shared was that when adding mental health training stuff helps build confidence. Some people show up with it. They got it. They just like, oh my God, how do they have confidence? Some people are still working on it. Some people are in a stage where they're still developing it. Some people have exceptional places on it. But building your confidence and be able to go into a workplace knowing that other people are wanting me to be successful as well. And you build your confidence on there. Are a lot of personal things that you do is about yourself, and bragging on yourself and being in a place where you can be able to toot your own horn. So if you're in a place for my if you're any leaders are here, other thing, I give opportunities for people to be able to brag about what they're doing, to be able to talk about the successes that they had. Mr. Harmon, we have that in the 15-minute thing that we got some places we can brag about what folks doing. Okay, there we have that. So yeah. Okay, so next screen. Take control. Resilient people believe that they can make a difference in a success in others in their lives. And it's like that kind of the anchor effect. But I believe that what I'm doing changes. When I was on a book tour, I have a book, my book is called 14 Ways to Find Your Amazing. I was on a book tour and I was in Birmingham, Alabama. And this is a few years back. And the lady, I don't know if she was a heckler or what, but I was talking, she just kept making comments and saying things. I can say, see, what in the world is happening here? But I'm from Atlanta, and I just told people earlier that I was a graded baby, so I was ready. I was ready. Like, okay, I'm here for this. So, so the lady says she's saying stuff, and so she said, well. And she in the back of the room. Yeah, I don't even know how she got there, but she was here. So we here now, right? And so she says that I'm living my best life. How can your book help me? Thinking, who invited her? Why she here? And so she says that, so I told you my book is 14 Ways to Find Your Amazing. I'm living my amazing life. So how can your book help me? So I said, oh, that's where you went wrong. So if you thought the book was about or being amazing is about just you, then you fail. So when you begin to live this amazing life, that means you make everybody around you amazing. You begin to change other people. And if it's simply just you, and even in your position, if it's simply just you, then you fail thinking that, oh, okay, well, I'm amazing. I don't care about the rest of them. Then everybody, it's something about when people are amazing, everybody around them become amazing. You cause everybody around you to rise up, to change, to be a little bit different. Your conversations look a little bit different. When you hang around with other people, winners to come. I talk about the circle five, and this is a whole other thing. Herman have to bring me back for the top five. If you ever want to know how far you would go in a company in your personal life, look around you in the top five people. The highest person with you, that's about where you'll tap out at. So they're called the circle of five. And so if you want to do change something, do a little something different, then you have to change your circle of five, even in your work life. Even in your work life. But there is some responsibility to take control. So when I was working in the workforce in the thing before the private practice doing this, I remember a young lady came up to me. She was newly graduated from college, and she said, Miss Jennifer, they told me to talk to you how I move up around here. And so I told her to be great where you are. So when you are in a place where you're great where you are, it'll put you in a position that you don't ever have to apply for. Folks will find you and seek you out. And so when people will find you and seek you out, that's when you have building resilience because I'm taking control of my own life. I'm taking control. So there is a level of responsibility that your bosses have to be able to give you the guidance piece on there. There's a level of responsibility that you have to be able to take control of how I feel each day I walk in here. You're born each day and you wake up every day with a choice and a chance. And so when I come in, I have a choice and a chance to feel better, to feel good, to move this situation. It literally is. I just told you guys earlier how you're drawing things to you, whether you know it or not. So I can, oh my God, this job stresses me out every day. It may, but then your coping skills a little. How are you dealing with how things are stressing you out? And there are sometimes that I do a self check because they're beyond what the job can offer you. And we talked about the EAP and utilizing other outside resources for that. So become more optimistic. You have to be. Optimism is a word, comes from the Latin word. It says to think positively for life. I believe that this is going to happen. It is optimism. I think that the most good things are happening. I look on the bright side of things. It's good. Literally, that's a place called Hunt the Good, and a part that I talk about hunting the good. Every day, it doesn't matter what happens or what goes on. If you're literally looking for something good, it will show up for you. Oftentimes it is we only focus on, oh, they driving the same kind of car I got. Oh, because that's the frequency that you're on. So when you stay on that frequency, it just takes a shift for you to be able to just change the frequency. If you change in your radio dial for old radios, and my car still does it too a little bit, you can change it. I go from 103.3 and I do a 103.5. It was a whole nother African Latin.
Always be
Yes. Okay. Managing your stress. So listen, stress is a killer. No, literally. I was watching this Netflix series. My husband sent it to me. He said, Jennifer, you probably like this. And it was called, and I just slipped my mind. I'm going to tell you what the name of it because you got to go see this. Watch this. So anyway, this Netflix series was talking about healing. I think it's called. So you're looking at it, and they were talking about this psychologist, this doctor came on, and he was talking about stress. He says in there that when there's a transplant patient, I want y'all to watch this. He said when there's a person that they're getting ready to do a transplant to, they stick them and inject them with the stress hormone. He said the reason they give them the stress hormone is that when your body is under stress, it can't defend itself. It can't fight off anything. So your natural body is that when I give you somebody's organ, it's not mine. I'm going to fight it off and resist it, right? But if I'm under stress, it lowers my ability to be able to manage and to fight off things. So when I said stress is literally a game changer and a killer, it will literally. And so when you're coming into a place, whether it's a stressor caused by a work or your personal, whatever it is, when stress enters the game, your health and your life is on the line. They say they literally give you an injection with a stress hormone. So stresses your body all out. So your body says, oh, I can't fight. So it's resistance. So I get sick. I don't feel well. I can't make good decisions for that. I can't move like I am. I'm not as good at the work as I am. So managing your stress, figuring out a place of not allowing somebody to stress you out or you guys to be able to be stressed. You're responsible for the energy that you give out, but also the energy that you take in. So stress is a game changer. So 5, all right. So next slide. Improve your decision-making ability. And so resilience requires you to make a decision rather to avoid one. That was a question. How many of you guys like, I just rather avoid this problem. I'd rather avoid the situation. Got some avoiders like, I don't want to, and let somebody else, get somebody else to do it. I don't want to do it. I want to avoid it. I don't want to have to make those tough decisions, right? Then you've already made a decision. You've already made a decision. You've decided a couple of things, but I don't really care what happens then because you didn't make a decision. So whatever happens is that I made it. I'm okay with whatever, however way it goes. whatever happens. And it's tough. It's hard sometimes to make a decision to say that, hey, I'm going to go and talk to somebody about this, or I'm going to let them know I didn't like the way this went down. I'm going to say, hey, I have a better way that I think this could work out. I'm going to say, hey, we're not working out in this team. We need some help. Or they say, hey, I could need some more support, or I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. Whatever it is that, hey, I got to make a decision to do it, because if not, a decision is going to be made either way. Tough, it's hard, but you have to, and it's a way of building your resilience for that. So resilient people trust their own judgment. Um, they aren't afraid of challenging their minds, all of that. So sometimes I don't do it because I don't trust me. Well, if somebody else doesn't, well, they did it. I didn't do it. It's good to be able to say somebody else because I don't trust me. And it's a lie. If you ever see somebody who volunteers to do something, or they're the head of, everybody got a lot of feedback for them. They're giving them a lot of feedback and stuff, and they're talking about, it's a target on your back when you're leading something or when you decided to do it, because other people who are not in motion are able to say, hey, I can talk about it. My daddy used to say, I said, I'm from Atlanta, but my parents, not. My dad's from Alabama. And so my dad said that a dog doesn't bark at a parked car. What it means, as soon as you start moving and doing something, that runs you down the street, chases you back up, and all of that. But if you're parked, and then why would I bark at it? You're not moving. So when there's movement and things begin to happen, then the dogs start to bark. So don't be afraid to make decisions, even if they're hard, even if they're ones that nobody else agree with, or the vision that nobody else can see. Sometimes everybody isn't going to agree with your vision. It wasn't given to them, not theirs. So ask for help. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It shows that I have identified where the areas that I can have improvement in. I'm creating a plan improvement for my life. I want things to be better. And there's somebody else that may have more expertise, more advice, more knowledge, more experience than me. And I'm all right asking for help. Be okay. Get okay with asking for help. I was sharing with the leaders in there. They're in a place, especially when you're a leader, they expect you to know everything. They may say, well, what they paying her the money for if I got to tell her? Or why do they not know this? But you have to be able to be okay with not knowing everything and asking for help. Doesn't show weakness at all. All right. Dealing with conflict. So where are my conflict avoiders? Where are the people saying, no, I just walk away. I don't want any conflict. No conflict. No conflict. No conflict, people. Not me. Not me. Not me. Let me. So, but you have to know that the conflict isn't necessarily, doesn't mean aggressive, doesn't mean having to fight. Being able to, sometimes we're in conflict with ourselves, and so conflict comes when our views differ from other people. Your views will differ. We have different experiences, different backgrounds, different socioeconomic things, different education. We're different folks. We like different things. Different of opinion doesn't mean that there has to be a negative conflict. In life, you're either the thermostat or the thermometer, right? If I'm the thermometer, I adjust to the temperature. If I'm the thermostat, I change the temperature in the room. Now, this is a true story, y'all. So I was teaching my daughter this. I have a magnificent 16-year-old girl. She just school. She's fantastic. She's awesome. I could talk about her all day. She's like Campbell soup. Good, y'all. So when she was younger, I was in the car and she got a therapist for a mom. So I'm always experimenting, figuring out stuff. So I'm in the car and I'm telling her about somebody didn't like her one day at school. She's like, my friend, something. And I was saying to her, I said, oh, it doesn't matter. So you're awesome. And so I'm telling her about, you're change the energy. When you walk in the room, I said, you set the tone for the energy. I said, you're a thermometer. I said, if it's too cold in there, go adjust it, make it a little bit warmer. So I'm telling her all of this stuff. So I called my mom on the phone. And I said, hey, Mom, what are you doing? She said, oh, okay, your brother just dropped by, your nephew, Chris. And I said, oh, what y'all eat? And she said, well, nothing. She said, oh, well, we won't have anything. I said, okay, I'm on the way to your house. I said, you want me to grab something? She said, okay, that'll be good. So I'm driving down the street and I see a Popeye's chicken on my right. Turn into Popeye's chicken. And you know how you get to before you get to where you want to order it through the drive-through, they have all the banners and the signs and stuff that say, the specials that they got. So I thought I saw a special that said 20 pieces for $20. It might not say it, but just trying to figure it out. So they already know, baby. Ain't nobody said that. They already said it. So when I go drive up to the Popeyes, y'all, listen. So I go on and I'm driving into there and I turn in and I get to the drive-through one and the lady said, "Can I help you?" And I say, "Hey." I said, let me get the 20 piece. So, ma'am, we don't have a 20 piece for $20. So I said, oh. And so the attitude wasn't always there. You know, attitude may not necessarily be the best, but the biscuit with the honey, we can work through that. So I said, so I told my daughter, so now my daughter is looking at me. And she's like, oh, let me see what this Miss Self-Help Queen is going to do in the back. So I got eyes looking at me that I got to prove her that you can be a thermostat, even in the toughest and the hottest situations. So I was thinking like, oh, I got to show her. And she's looking like, because at this point, I'm ready to pull on around as well the manager. So I said to her, okay. I said, my apologies. And I said, I'm headed to my mama's house. And I said, she told me to bring stuff because everybody was like, can you help me? So she know what she know, and I know what I know. She knows. She told me, she said, listen, order the 15 piece, add the 5 piece, go ahead and add an extra side of biscuit, add this right here, and that's going to be less than what the special is. By the time we were friends, by the time I got around to the drive-through, she had all the hot sauce and honey sauce that I could ask for. You ready for the bag? Yeah, I changed the temperature. I could have easily adjusted to her temperature and we start throwing packs of ketchup through the drive-through window. I could have been viral at that point, but not necessarily been. Ms. Herman might not have invited me here if I was that type of viral. But what I'm saying is that even in the hottest situations that you enter into in your job, it is an opportunity for you to be able to adjust the temperature. See, when you go with the temperature. Usually I'm doing a temperature check. It's hot when I'm coming in hot. No, when you adjust it, because it takes a lot of energy to fight. It takes a lot of energy to be in a place where you're unhappy for 8 hours, to sit in your desk and the cold get cold, and then when you don't have anybody to laugh and talk with, any friends, any place, and you're in a place where you're sad. Oftentimes, it's not always external; it's internal. If I had taken it personally, if I had thought any kind of like, I know she who she talking to. If I had changed anything about it that I had, that it could have been a whole different situation. And then one thing my mom also told me, you don't play with people who got your food. Now you don't do that. That means you done. So I was able to kind of take all the knowledge that I've gotten from all the years, all of my knowledge, and be able to use it right in that quick second. But knowing that I can adjust and I can set the temperature and that you don't always have to come in. Every fight or every disagreement that you're invited to, you don't have to show up. Yeah. So even in your personal life, even I laugh because we all can tell a story, and I know y'all probably was at the same Popeyes that I'm talking about. But what I'm saying is that any situation that you get into, being able to go set the temperature in there instead of be always having to, if I put it in there, it says 99, well, it's 99 then. And so learning how to deal with conflict and then to learn, we are a student of life. It's everything. It's nobody, doesn't matter, where they are in life, who they are, whether you're walking down the street from the parking, that there is something or someone that you can learn something from. So always be open to learning. It is some people that have been in places and positions and stuff for 25, 30 years, and they may be a subject matter expert, but there are always opportunities to be able to learn. Learning more, not just externally, but about yourself. Learning when I'm feeling overwhelmed, when I'm feeling stressed, when I'm irritable, when I'm stressed out, and learning what to do with all of that. And so when we're laughing and you're joking about that, but being able to realistically know when things are changing in your life, to be able to adjust yourself so that you can be your best self in any place or situations that you are at. And be yourself. I think it was Jay-Z to say, I walk in every room as myself. I don't know how to be anybody else but Jennifer. Everybody else is already taken. And so when I come in and I be myself, my authentic self, it allows you to be able to come and to show up in places, and people don't have to adjust because they know how to take you every day because you're that person. So when you show up as somebody else, by the time they realize, like, oh, they're looking at you like things happen, you changed. No, that was never you, anyways. So if you're sensitive, you're sensitive. And so people can be able to respect and understand, like, okay, they're a sensitive person. Let me be there instead of coming in like I'm so hard. I don't really care what you say. When you take it all of and you genuinely do care, it is okay. When somebody hard, they really don't care what somebody says, probably, okay, it's all right. It's who they are. But we respect all the differences that everybody has. So show up as yourself every day, all the time. And so those are 10, I think. Yeah. So the next one. So there is, and I'm gonna pause right there before I get to the 7 C's. Any questions, comments, thoughts, ideas, suggestions, things that happened, like, oh, this happened to me. Was able to kind of build upon that. Any of those things. Pause for a minute. Do you, boo? You do you. Absolutely. So do you. So being you, being authentic. But let me say this. So some people take a do you like that's just her, how she's always been. Doesn't mean that because you've always been that way, then you have to stay. There's opportunity to always be learning and growth. Learning and growth. I got an opportunity to change, realizing, accepting, hey, how I am, everybody may not receive it that way. So it's not being inauthentic, but it is saying that it is being considerate in a workplace, in a place where you want to be considerate to others. Consider is simply, it is the simplest things. Whether you hold a door and be considerate. If I was doing this with somebody had done it for me, I think today we talked about empathy a lot from the leaders. Is that having empathy, knowing that I've been in a place too, and so I would definitely employ it and really just encourage you guys to look at empathy, being empathetic to someone else, even for your boss. Like I expect them to know everything. I expect them to be able to do this, but being empathy, saying that I can imagine it must be a bit hard having to have all these people, all these changes, and still be able to keep it together. I can also give gratitude to it because they keep it together, I get to be able to work every day, or let's work on me, or some there's places that you can be able to give it to. So doing you in an effort to every day wake up to reinvent yourself, to be your better version of you, to be your best self. Being your best self means taking care of your mind, your body, and your spirit. Your mind is your thoughts every day that you're talking. We talk to ourselves more than we talk to anybody else. Be kind to yourself. Be positive to yourself. Talk your talk to yourself. I'm in the mirror all day long talking, hey, I'm really big on affirmations for me. And I don't ask the universe a half-hearted please. So my stuff isn't coming in. Jennifer, you're beautiful. I love you. I'm asking for a big deal. My name's being spoken in rules at my feet having entered positively. So I'm saying big stuff. So but talk positive to yourself when you walk into a space. It changes and shifts your mindset. It adjusts your energy and it helps you to be able to manage your stress. So there are 7 C's of resilience: competence, confidence, connection, character, contribution, and coping and control. With all of these factors in place, you can build your inner strength and you can utilize resources regardless of your age. Oftentimes, it's a lot of intergenerational people that I'm talking to. And this lady came to me the other day when I was in, it's like Memphis, in South Carolina and Columbia. And she was like, 72 years old now, Miss Jennifer. What can I do? It's a whole bunch you can do. If you expected to live until you're 82, you got 10 more years. And so there's never always an opportunity. You're one decision away from changing your life. Simply one decision. One decision right now can alter and shift the change in your life. One decision yesterday could have made you go buy the lottery ticket and won. So you're just literally one decision away from changing your life. And you have to you take that very serious. So when we talk about a choice and a chance, is that everybody doesn't have that opportunity to have a choice and a chance. And it is a privilege to fight this race and to run this race every day. And so running this race, whatever is a rat race, we're getting up, doing this, it is a privilege because there's someone who would love, like to say, to be your space of finding a place of gratitude. um, when I wrote the book, I wrote this formula. It's called the Amazing Model. This is vision, preparation, faith, and gratitude. And so I talk about them and and try to weave them in every aspect of what I talk about. But here, I don't know if I talk about this in gratitude, but I would be remiss in who I am to not talk about it. So gratitude makes what you have enough. Literally, in my eyes, open you up for miracle. It just sets you to a place that if I can give thanks, the more things that will be added unto me to be thankful for. And you probably ask, how in the world all this deal with mental health, it is your mental mindset. It is your mental mindset that I am grateful for an opportunity to be able to come and stand here. I'm grateful that, hey, they had a parking space. Somebody had some good piece of the chicken salad that was over here. Sandwich was good. I'm grateful for a lot of different little things, and they add up, and it's a sum of all of them, and they begin to add up. So it is sometimes it is your emotion, the mental piece of how you're feeling, to be able to really make your life good or bad, positive or negatively. It's you. It all rise and stands with you. And then when you realize that the ability that you have to be able to change and the words that you speak. So I talk about thoughts, your connection with your thoughts and your behavior, but it's also the words that come after that. So when I'm saying you're speaking to yourself, speak kindly. Um, I do this thing, the power of words. And as for a long story short, is using words to unlock magic in your life. So, abracadabra is the Hebrew word for I create what I speak. So, if you're unlocking magic and you're using magic, because every good magician has a magic word. So, most magicians, everybody's heard abracadabra, but it's a Hebrew word for I create what I speak. And so, if I'm interested in changing and unlocking magic in my life, it's simply the words that you speak. And so as you leave, I'm speaking that I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm strong, my mind is sound, I'm happy in here. And even if you're on your way to being in a happier place and saying I have resources, out of that I begin to speak words that are into my life that causes me to tricks me into a better mental health state. Uh, Next slide, please. I want you guys on take a snap a picture of this and at some point in time to be able to create a personal resilience plan. Identify resilient skills and strategies that you currently use that works well because everybody here has some type of strengths. You have some strengths that when we took the test, we know that there are some things that you are doing well, and then identify those and what's working well, and then identify some skills that you would like to develop. Like I would like to be tougher, or I would like to not take everything so personal, or I would like to be able to be more confident to speak up for myself. I would like to be able to have a better vision. I would like to have some follow through. I would like to be able to trust my decision making a little bit more. All of those. So looking at some things that I want to identify and I would like to develop, and then write one goal for each of the skills that you identify. So if I want to be more confident, or if I'm more confident uh, involves me having more knowledge and research. Because when you know something, you can say it without a shadow of a doubt. I know what I know. I know what I know. So I can get up and say it boldly and confidence. So perhaps the lack of confidence comes because I have not researched enough, or I don't have enough knowledge to know, or I don't trust that people are going to listen to me. So whatever it is you're figuring out, your goal to be able to have yourself to be more confident of whatever your goals are. And then identify potential obstacles in developing these skills. We started off the training talking about and making sure that we knew that tough things will come. Stuff won't always happen and go our way, but that's fine. Tough times don't last, tough people do. And so because tough people last and outlast the tough times, that's you. We know that, hey, these are some obstacles may come. I'm gonna overcome them, may trip me up just a little bit, but I'll still keep going. On the way here this morning, I put in my GPS. I got how to get here. So it said that it was gonna take me about 20 minutes. And then the time started to increase and increase and increase and more. I couldn't possibly factor in something that would happen a couple of minutes before the accidents that happened, the other stumble, the obstacles and the roadblocks that was coming here and there. I could possibly think that it might happen. And if it does, I'm gonna leave a little bit early so I'm on the trail, or I'm gonna put in an off-road thing so I can figure out the rest of the way to get there. They will come. They always have come. You've survived 100% of the toughest days of your life. How I know? It's because y'all been through a pain. Because you're sitting here, one. You think about the toughest things that ever happened to you in your life, whether you have been fired from a job, you didn't have enough gas money, you couldn't pay the bills, you broke up, you went through a divorce, you overcome a major illness, whatever it is that's happened in your life that was the toughest thing that you never thought you would survive, you survived it because you're sitting here. So give yourselves a round of applause for being tough. Right? You survived 100% of the toughest days of your life. And so if you can do it once, you can do it again. So things become tough. Things for some people, they're living their best life right now. This is the best that's ever happened to them. Some people it's a rough spot, but each of you have to continue to keep going. All right, so that's a creating your resilient plan. So work on that somewhere. That's a personal thing that you are working on to create that. All right, so our next slide. I have no idea what's on the slides next, y'all. I promise. All right, Q&A, Q&A. So again, any questions that you have? All right, got a question.
Virginia. Thank you so much for the opportunity. One of the things you mentioned in your presentation is to manage your stress. And that alone is difficult, managing your stress. My question is, how can I manage my stress? For example, if I have a supervisor who has a situation where they have their own stress that they bring to the job and they expect me to be what they want me to be. I think that adds even more to my stress. Now, where do I go to get relief? Do I go to the supervisor above my supervisor? Do I go to the HR? Where do I go? Or do I go to EAP?
Okay, so that's a very good question. So what we know for sure is that we cannot control others' action, but we can control our actions, right? And so two things is that when you're managing stress, you're eliminating as much stress as you can. That's first. Instead of having to manage it, get rid of as much as you can. So some things you don't even need to be stressed out. That wasn't even none of your business that was going on over here. Just let me get rid of that. I don't took on somebody else's stress. So get rid of anything that not your stress. So you got your own stress enough to be able to manage that. So the other part is that it is very true. Other people bring on their stress, but I said earlier is that you're not only responsible for your energy, but the energy you accept and around you. So sometimes we're sitting, even if we are part of a conversation where somebody's stressed, they're stressed, they add your stress onto it. So energy is never lost or destroyed. It's only transferred from one thing to another. Have you ever walked in a room and it's thick in the room? You can feel like, something going on. All of a sudden, your anxiety start going on. You thinking like, what's going on? You can even think of this. If somebody calls you and they said, Miss Virginia, guess what? You said, what happened? What happened? Or if they call you like this, say, guess what? Y'all not gonna believe it. You said, what happened now? Why am I whispering with you? Let me tell you, because excitement is contagious. Energy is contagious. It transfers. If I come in like, we in the theater, everybody like, oh my God, it's contagious. So you begin to take on somebody else's energy simply because they shifted to you. Give it back to them. Listen. Don't take it. Don't accept it. I don't want any. I'm full of it. So that's part one. So your responsibility is that it is not my stress. Just listening to somebody else's stress is stressful. And when I'm stressed, I was stressed out with a friend. Now, what happened? Okay, I'm walking in the bill. Text me then. All of that, I've taken on somebody else's stress just simply because they're telling you about it. Your anxiety goes, the closer you are to the person, the more you know about it, higher the level of stress goes up. You're taking on their energy for it. But then in the other part is that sometimes being bold enough to have the conversation, because people are your supervisors, but they're just people. What stops us is the fear. Here we go. So fear is a whole different thing. They didn't give me enough time for that one. But what stops us is fear. Is that fear is that if I say something to them, they're gonna write me up. If I say something to them, they're gonna be mad with me. If I say something to them, or they're gonna treat me differently. If I say something to them, I might lose my job today and I need to take care of my family. And so all of that, it goes into stressors. Eliminate as much stress on you. Because I can't talk about what's happening with others because I don't know, but I can talk about how I respond to it. So eliminate as much stress. Don't take on any if you want, even if you don't know it intentionally. Like they come in, they're already stressed out. Let them do their stress out thing. Let me go here. And if work within your what you're able to do. All you can do is all you can do, and it's more than enough. I hope that helped. Who you going to? Then that's an HR question for that. So we got to get Mr. Harmon, somebody in here to go for that. EAP, if you need to talk to somebody for your own personal. If it's a work issue, then you got to handle it internally with your HR. Sounds good? And I don't want to give you any work advice because I'm not an employee for this guy. I'm just the owner of the Purpose Project. And so I don't want to tell you the wrong stuff. And now you got to come try to work with me. And so I just want to make sure that I'm offering you the right thing, but taking care of yourself, managing you. Yes.
Jennifer, I'm 63 years old and I've been retirement eligible for 2 years, but I'm going to retire in 2 more years because I primarily work from home. So life is beautiful right now. I'm very blessed in every manner, home, economically, whatever. But I'm noticing with my friends, with the county, that all of us are in the same age group. And now we're beginning to transition to life after Fulton County. And I meet more with my retirement planner and my financial advisor and a real estate agent for where we're buying a getaway place in Italy. So, my focus is different, but it becomes but your resiliency, it's life changing. Now we're having to pay attention to Medicare, those commercials that we never watched before. And now we're having to start to read the literature. And now we're having to deal with the retirement office about, signing up for Medicare, Part D, and all this stuff. But mostly, you realize you have far more years behind you than you do in front of you. So you're looking at coworkers now who are 37, and you're thinking, I may not even be around when they reach retirement age. And that's become something new and challenging for a lot of us that are in this period of life. You want to speak to that?
I do. It becomes stress because any changes um, in your life. There is a someone comes to see me and like I said, that's a general diagnosis that we do. It's called adjustment disorder. I'm adjusting to changes in my life, whether it's a new position, new relationship, new moving thing, a new thing in age. And these are things that you have not thought about before that were never important to you, but they're equally and they're equally as important to you now. And it creates a little bit more stress because it's new. Anything that's new, kind of like I don't know it so well. I'm not sure am I making the right decisions for, but it also talks about like it begins to literally speak about like the dash in your name. Sometimes when people start to come to see me, there's a certain age group they come, and I always know like here we go. They've lived their best life early on. Now they're trying to make like what is my legacy that I leave here looks like, or how do I make that dash between my name matter? And so it gets to be about when they hit about 42, 40, and they can say, okay, I partied up, I lived, especially if they have a very good career. They're trying to figure out like, okay, I'm gonna be 50 or 60 in a minute. What do I do next? And so with that, being able to accepting that change is going to come. This is a new change of how my life looks. And how do I make it still the best for me? And so you take it in being knowledgeable, and a part of the anxiety come, I'm not as knowledgeable as I were. I knew all this other stuff that was going on. So you're learning something new, and the fear sometimes comes that what if I miss a piece that could be critical? And so taking the time to make sure that, hey, take it on as a whole new like excitement about it, happy about it. Because sometimes so the energy around it, like, oh my God, I'm aging. I got to do all of this stuff. I'm responsible for this. We were talking to the judge this morning. She was here and she does magistrate. And she was talking about, Jennifer, I may need you because when I talk about people with estate planning, people immediately start to think like, oh my God, I'm not going to be here anymore. It's a lot that comes with that. So changing your thoughts. When you change what you look at, what you see will change. Like, okay, I'm excited about this because I'm going to make a difference and make sure that, hey, my latter part of my life is going to be just as exciting. As they say, keep that same energy, keep the same energy. So you say you living life good, live life good then. Go ahead. Next question. Yes.
I have a question too on Zoom as well when you're ready.
The starting point for procrastinate. I promise y'all should go back and see. I did a show on Portia, Fox 5 on Portia's show about procrastinating. The starting point is the law of motion. That which is at motion stays at motion. Move it, move something. Get to moving. Once you start just with a little bit of motion, it continues, it grows. And so if you have, if you're procrastinating, and also recognizing that procrastination isn't just because I just don't want to do it. Oftentimes it's directly tied to an emotion of that task. Something about I failed before, like, oh, I hate doing this because I know I'm not going to do good at, or it's going to take a long time. Some type of emotion that's attached to that task, figuring out what that emotion is, addressing it, and then get started.
Oh, just a couple of things that I think about to reduce stress. One is don't let the perfect become the enemy of the good. And the other is don't let past mistakes and regrets steal tomorrow's joy. Those things help me out.
Now you said something there. Let me tell you this. So it doesn't matter who shows up in my office, right? So one is I do gratitude. There's a gratitude stone thing. You got to see that. But here's the other part is regrets will hold you hostage. And this is a quick tip, y'all, how to get rid of them. So you think about whatever you have a regret for. The next step is you think about what the lesson is. See, once I've learned a lesson from a regret, it's no longer really a regret. I've turned it into something positive. Like I learned something from this. Then the next step, after I've learned something from the regret, this is how it works in your favor. So this is a regret. Oh my God, I regret this ever happened to me. I regret I ever made this decision. Well, I learned this. So now I've gotten some positive out of it. But the game changer is that when I can give gratitude to it. I'm glad this is what I should have never quit that job. I was angry and I left. And so the lesson is I learned is that when I'm in the heat of an emotion, take time to be logical to think for that. But then the gratitude comes from that because I left, I learned a skill and I can take this transferable skill and work anywhere. And so you could change that thing that have held you hostage, that have haunted you all your life and turn it into something positive. Don't let regret stay too long. Don't let yesterday take up too much of your today. There are questions?
Here's another question. They ask, why use words like toughness, strength when it comes to mental well-being?
Why use words like what?
Strength and toughness when it comes to mental well-being.
Strength and toughness. And why use words like that? If you are building bodybuilding, if you're building your body, you're making your muscles tougher. You're making them stronger so that they can work for you. You're less likely to have injury and accident if you're stronger, your muscles are built. It'll burn more calories, you live a healthier life. And so you're using words like toughness, you're doing the same thing, except when you're using your mental muscles to be able to build up strength and toughness for you. So when things come that are supposed to knock you down or to tear you apart, you have something that's stronger to keep you going. I look forward to the day that we are having a conversation where it's called mental health. It's just health. It's all just health. And so it is health. It is, we don't, when you go on, you got mental health and health. Mental health is part of health. And so we separate it, keeps the stigma going. I'm ashamed, or I don't want to tell anybody that I have these stresses are going on. I don't want to let anybody know that this is going on. You guys know, during May, I laugh because I talk a lot about getting rid of the stigma of mental health. We all know the names that come with somebody who we consider who have mental health problems. The elevator don't go up to the top floor. They're not the sharpest knife in the drawer. They're missing a few marbles, something like, right. All of the things that go along with that, which increases people to keep it hidden. And particularly, most people aren't. It's recently become more popular for somebody to say, "Yeah, I got a therapist." Most people come and they see me if they're coming for life coaching. I got a life coach. It sound better than maybe a therapist, because a therapist may say that, "Hey, something's wrong with me," but it's nothing wrong with asking for help for someone who is an expert. And you don't always have going to mental health because there's some type of major diagnosis. We take mental health, there has to be some type of major diagnosis going on. Stress, lack of confidence, all of those things play a part of our mental. And so you can show up and see somebody, talk to somebody just to be able to help with some of those things. Some things from your past, some triggers, some past traumas that you've had. All of these things help you not to be your best self. Any other questions? What is called attitude? Okay, well, somebody add that in the chat. Charles Swindler? Charles Swinger, and that thing is called Swindler. Oh, okay, gotcha. It's called attitude. Okay, we add that. I'm going to look that one up because I don't know that one. Maybe add it through a few talks that I got. You guys, I think it's the next slide. If there aren't any other questions, thank you, my people that's on Zoom and virtual. We do have a question. I'm sorry. They asked what the name of the Netflix was. It's called Healing. Yeah, and you will know it because it looks blue, like circles in it, and it's such a good thing. Yeah.
I was just going to ask, is there any way we could get this PowerPoint presentation sent to us? I know you have a business, and
Mr.
maybe you
Herman?
could even have a book signing here on one of our market days.
We should
Brenda.
definitely do that. I thought about bringing some today, but Miss Virginia and Mr. Harmon didn't give me permission to come in here and hustle some books. So guys, I left them, left them in the trunk.
Also, with Mr. Herman's permission, I can also post this same meeting to YouTube.
Yes. So I really hope today, let me tell you guys that there is I have been doing mental health and I am a self-help queen. And I'm not saying this is not like I'm saying that I got a proclamation for Fulton County that says this, you guys, that I am the self-help queen. But I believe in self-help. I believe in mental health and behavioral change. And I know that the impact that is made with clients, not only with clients, but in my own personal life. And that if you start on this journey to find you're amazing, all kind of things begin to shift for you to change when you start to live with power, with purpose and productivity in your own life. And so there is a responsibility that your company has for you to make sure that they are following through and giving you the resources and support that they can with your mental health. There's a responsibility that you have for yourself. And you can't work harder for anybody, anything else other than yourself. And so set it up how you interact with yourself, how you respond to yourself, how you show up tells others how to treat you. And so each time that we have having those things, and I was kind of making sure that I had this, and there are so many other different wonderful topics. We're going to Mr. Herman, 15 minutes. We're going to come back and share this because it seems like it's very helpful. I thank you for the comments in the chat and then the thoughts and the comments and questions that you guys have here. Every time I enter a room and I talk to people and I get a chance, like I said, to talk all over, I always say, like, let me keep the lights on, not Georgia Power, but that that everybody that enters and get a chance to hear my voice is a little bit brighter than they were when they came in. And so that's always a goal of mine, is to make sure that a little bit of light little give you a little sunshine and a little bit of light brighter than it was you came in. So I hope today that I said some type of something to be able to spark something in you to be able to take care of yourself, to take personal responsibility of yourself. And even if you aren't on this journey to find your amazing, if you're somewhere between once upon a time and happily ever after, that I can help you through the forest, in the wilderness, and then that you got some tools and strategies to be resilient, to be tough, and to help run this race. If you're looking for me, you can find me in the A. But if you would, y'all, I saw y'all from Atlanta. I'm sorry, I'm from Atlanta. Atlanta people say she's not from Atlanta for pronouncing that T at the end. But my company is the Purpose Project. I'm celebrating 15 years of being in business as a woman, as a Black business owner, and as a expert change expert in mental health. I created a company. I thought, how do I want people to feel when they left me? I want them to feel like they had a sense of purpose. And I thought that's a huge project. So thank you for being part of my project today. Thank you, guys. Mr. Harmon.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lester. And first, let me apologize for have to step out of the room, but we were actually still on the conference call trying to make the employee experience much better, working on our IT and HR infrastructure. But for part of the conversation that I heard, and I was thinking like, that's me. And, if you're in my department, Stacy exactly could tell you that, one of the things that she probably dislikes about me the most is I don't sleep. And I heard Dr. Lester talk about, you have to talk to yourself. So I tend to have conversations with me and Stacy at 2:00 in the morning by myself. And I play both sides of the conversation. It's a very healthy process. It's a healthy process. It's not unhealthy about it. But the problem that creates for Stacy is I come in to the office thinking that we've already talked all this stuff through. And I'm like 2 steps ahead. And she's like, wait, Ken, this is the first time I'm hearing. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. You wasn't there at 2:00 in the morning at the meeting. But that being said, that's how I keep my mental health. One of the things that I also heard her say, I have 3 theme songs. And I'm a product of rap, and I like rap. So my first theme song, no matter what, I don't play it often. I just hear it in my head all the time, is by DJ Khaled. I'm going to win, 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 no matter what. So that always plays in my head. So no matter what whatever challenge that I have, whether it's, how could we give you guys bonuses? They're going to tell me no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. But at the 10th time, somebody going to be tired of me in their office. And they're going to tell me, yes, I'm going to win no matter what. And you guys are going to win. Second theme song that I have is by Jay-Z. There's a line in his song that he says, put me anywhere on God's green earth, I'm going to triple my worth. I can't tell you the last two words of that sentence. After 5, I could tell you the last 2 words of the sentence, of the lyric. But I really believe in that. And I stress that to my son, like, hey, no matter where you go, you should be able to triple your worth no matter where you go. Oh, wait, I forgot the third one. Hold on. No. Oh, and then before any presentation, big or small, Jay-Z comes to the rescue again with breathe easy. And where everything is an exercise, and you do your exercises, and the more time you practice, the more time it becomes easier and you get things done. So those are my theme songs. Hopefully you have your own theme songs. And if you want to borrow mine, you could borrow mine, because they've been very helpful in making me as successful as I've been, and successful as my team has allowed me to be as well, with all the support that they have allowed me. So again, just one more applause of congratulations and gratitude to Dr. Lester. I'd like to thank Virginia and Danny and the employee development team for pulling this all together. I see External Affairs has been here to record this event so that those employees of Fulton County who have been unable to participate could at least get some information out of it, maybe not as interactive as we would have liked. But nonetheless, this is again is just the start of conversations. So it's not only conversations with you, but conversations with the leadership team as well. And we've promised them that the next class that they'll have is gratitude and appreciation. We did it about. Don't laugh. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. Just like more than likely it's not your fault. You didn't go to school. There's no degree called gratitude and appreciation in any college or university. You went to school to be a lawyer, an attorney, a HR person, a psychiatrist, psychologist. Somebody has to teach you gratitude and appreciation, genuine gratitude and appreciation. The key word is genuine gratitude and appreciation, not the, check the box and you move on. It's genuine gratitude and appreciation. And the last time we did that class about 3 to 4 years ago, I think it was well received, but we now need a refresher. So we're going to bring that back for the managers and then bring again some additional programming for you guys as well as we continue to focus on enhancing the employee experience. I think we've done enough on the compensation. We're not going to do any more compensation items. Right, you guys are tired of all the money that we spent and put into your pockets, right? A lady did complain to me that I put her in a higher tax bracket a few days ago, so she wasn't speaking for you guys. Okay, no problem. But even along that line, we do have some continued plans on how we could continue setting Fulton County as the public employer of choice, because we know you have options out there and we don't want you to have to look for those options because we believe you're at the best option right now when it comes to delivery of public service to the citizens of Fulton County. So with that being said, thank you guys again for taking some time out of your day. Please, this is not a secret. Go back and tell your coworkers you should have been there. And if you wasn't there, here's my 1 or 2 tidbits. And these are Mr. Herman's 3 theme songs and go and listen to them. And spread the word because I think that's how we get the communication going again, coming back from COVID and being 100% remote, if in fact you happen to have that ability to be remote and trying to bring everyone back to some sense of community in this environment that we're now living in. So again, thank you guys very much for participating and we look forward to your continued participation in future trainings. Hold on. Oh yes, and if you have not signed in, if you pass the tables without signing in, please make sure you signed in. We want to give you full credit for your attendance, as well as we're tracking that as well, just to make sure that our programming is being well received by you guys. And just as a tidbit, look up, and again, what did I authorize you guys to spend 15 minutes on? That's right. So in Focal News, that's where we try our best to communicate with you guys. So if you go there at least once a week, you will get all the information you need to know what's going around and happening within the county. And we have a lot of new programming coming your way. Again, thank you guys very much.